Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club, a weekly podcast about watching events unfold from inside the eye socket of a dead sheep. Our Alien Earth journey continues this week as we approach the business end of the series. The lab is packed with teeming deadly specimens, the hybrid robot children are having a group existential crisis, and all the humans with any sense just want to go home. Let's see how that turns out for them. Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club, where we're back on Earth and we've just watched episode 6 of Alien Earth, The Fly. Is this a sly nod to David Cronenberg or just because the episode features a really big fly? We will discuss. If this series is a rapidly developing Xenomorph drone trapped in a tempered glass box, then we've just reached the penultimate stage of growth and things are about to kick off. I'm your host, Nathan Dighton. I'm joined by Robert Pearson.
Hello.
And David Jackson.
Hello.
Before we discuss this episode, Dave, could you give us a quick synopsis?
For God's sake, I always forget, and then I get annoyed when Rob gets them because he gets the episodes I think I could synopsize.
Last time you
quickly.
did a synopsis, I listened to it back the other day. You said everything all the various strands just continue.
And I'd say that again for this one.
Yeah.
The various strands continue. Let me take you back to the start of the episode now, as I recall. I think I watch things much more with vibes than things that actually happen. So let's follow some of those strands. First of all, the Xenomorph is officially born and is now in a cage. It is. We saw it, burst from lungs in a previous episode. It's now been caged and is become one of the experiments. And Wendy is spending a lot of time talking to it. And the look on her face when she's talking to it is certainly one of kind of admiration, a little bit of love. She's got a weird relationship with it. And I think that the others are noticing this, the others being definitely Kirsh and her brother Hermit, who are keeping an eye on her. Hermit continues to be convinced that they are on a bad place and is going to take Wendy away. He is quite naive in that respect, and I think everybody knows his plan, but he's forging ahead with it anyway. He's making maps and is talking to people in a roundabout way to try and get information to leave. But Wendy, straight up in a conversation, says to him, what if I don't want to leave? What if I want to stay? And it does seem that she is developing a kind of an infatuation with the Xenomorph and an interest in her new kind of lifestyle. Nibs is awake, and but only after having had her memory of the crash and slightly preceding it removed, because they couldn't dedicate the time to her for therapy until before, in a couple of weeks' time, apparently they're going to be revealed to the world and they're going to have to show off how good they are. So they have removed her memories, not told anyone else about it, which immediately caused a lot of problems. And also Arthur refused to do it, who would have been the kind of engineer tasked with doing it, refused to do it, was instantly fired and asked to leave the island by the end of the day. Slightly is in a really bad state. He's trying desperately to find someone, any human anywhere, to become face hugged. Yeah. His target is Hermit, and Hermit's having none of it and is very aware that Slightly is acting quite strangely around him. The Boy Kavalier goes and meets Yutani for a deposition, I think, basically to argue their cases for what should happen. And in a very clever sleight of hand, he manages to get some extra cash out of Yutani to the sum of $20 billion, whilst also accepting he will give back the extraterrestrial species, but after the 6 months of quarantine, which is law, and he's kind of played Yutani there. And the major thread of the episode really was seeing Toodles. I mean, Kirsh watching, I'm not sure whether Kirsh was watching Toodles, but he was certainly watching Slightly. But Toodles first is asked to go and feed the subjects, basically, feed the experiments. And he's so bad, he pulls a door off one of the cages with his super strength, and Unfortunately, it's the cage where the creatures seem to eat synthetic stuff, and he gets trapped inside and is killed. Arthur, realizing that, having given Hermit the boat code so that he can get Wendy off the island, goes to see what's happened, slightly seizes the opportunity, releases the face hugger, and Arthur is impregnated, slightly drags him into a vent appropriately, and the Kirsh sees all of this, is completely emotionless about it. He is synthetic, and also basically straight up lies to Boy Kavalier, who's having a great old time in his ship, whooping at his victory, and doesn't tell him about anything that's happened. The lab is left in a state of cages open, all under the watchful eye of the eye, in a sheep. And I think that's basically it.
That's pretty much it.
It was very long. Sorry, I'm not good at this.
That's all right.
That sheep, by the way. Yeah. Shout out to the sheep. Really good performance. This is like the Anthony Hopkins of sheep.
Yeah.
Just like stand there, Doris, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Big, long, intense stares.
Sometimes it's not a real sheep, but sometimes it is.
It's definitely a real sheep most of the time. It's just a sheep standing there.
I don't know. I don't think it is. But when it was eating, it was a real sheep. When it was like, oh, that's a real sheep. I loved the sheep eating the hay with an eye sort of taped over it. It was great.
This is where Hollywood's gone wrong. There aren't enough practical sheep anymore, are there?
Well, if you were a sheep actor, like, where are you getting your role? You can't even get this one.
So when they did the strikes last year, and a lot of them were to do with digital performances, I'm not sure that the Sheep Guild was in on that.
No.
So which is why you so much...
Is that why you think they opted for a sheep?
Yeah.
What can we still use that isn't currently striking? The
Yes.
sheep. The sheep aren't striking. Let's get
we
it
can
in
replace it with the digital performer.
We're going to have to use mostly extraterrestrial species for all of this.
Lots to talk about in this episode, which I initially thought of as a kind of a parts moving around before something, before the climax of the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Rob, did you enjoy this episode?
Not as much as I have done previous episodes. I think it suffers a lot from coming off the back of episode 5, which is just a great episode, and I guess reminded everyone of what Alien is. Remember Alien? This is Alien, and now we've come back to what Alien Earth is doing. And I have been thinking all season long, what's the show doing? What's it showing us? And really, it's just a different variation on all the things have gone wrong, haven't they?
Yeah.
All the things have gone wrong again now, and now it looks like it's setting us up for 2 episodes of everything jostling together and
punching each other in the face.
It's very much like, everyone has their character. All of the characters collide. What would happen if these 2 characters met? What would they say? What would they do? And it's very much feels like every single interaction, like the dice are being rolled.
Yeah.
Where are we going to end up here? It's just stuff's happening all the time.
I agree.
And nothing's ever really like... I don't ever feel like I'm grasping the general thrust of the series. It's just a series of unfortunate events.
Dave, how about you? Did you enjoy the episode?
I think same as Rob, really. I enjoyed it, the spectacle of it, and sitting there, I was having a nice time. I think overall, as part of a wider series, like Rob said, it hasn't improved my enjoyment of the series anymore.
Sure.
But it certainly hasn't lessened it. And I agree, off the back of the previous episode, which was really strong, and I did worry might stand out as being too strong in a way. I think that it sort of suffers slightly, but it was a good. Ultimately, I guess the sort of basic boy in me does want to see the creatures out of their cages,
of course,
causing havoc, and that is happening. But that is also probably the basic story that you would expect. So mixed emotions.
I took the advice of one of our commenters. I can't remember who it was, and I have been listening to the official podcast.
Okay. I really need to listen to this.
I think it's great. I think it's really good, actually. All the episodes are about 30 or 40 minutes long.
Is it on Spotify?
We could learn a thing or two.
It is on Spotify. We actually could, but like in a nice way. We've been doing. We're like an unspoiled experiment, and
yes.
What's interesting is how clearly everyone who makes the show thinks about the show. Yes. Obviously, so it's. It was an interesting time to start to listen to it. So I listened to them all actually during the day. Then I went on and watched episode 6, and just because of what you've both said, and I really agree with it, which is that we've reached a point in the series where you can kind of see the workings of it, like Morrow versus Kirsh just in there, or the what's happening in the lab being like a repeat of what happened in the lab on the Maginot. and it's the show. And like you said, I don't really know what the overarching theme of the show is. Well, they just kind of say it out loud. And what it made me realize was that there are specific things that it's about, which are drawn from Noah Hawley's take on how to remake things, and they really are just smashing those ideas together. And I was like, am I disappointed? Because you're kind of seeing the mechanics of the show just pounding these things together, or, you know, Wendy and all the kids kind of are wondering whether they're human and then being pulled in different directions because of the actions of either a corporation or because of sympathies to an alien. And actually I thought, well, I don't know what else I want. Do you know what I mean? I think it's actually, I can see the working parts a little bit, but I think it's really, really good. And so I think actually it helped me. I thought the same. I was kind of like, medium enjoy this. Lots of things have moved on, and there is a kind of a procession to it. But then, yeah, so I just advise everyone. I heartily recommend. It's really nicely put together. Just a great. It's got like interviews and stuff.
One thing that I think is, I'm going to sound like a real idiot when I say this. I probably sound like an idiot often, but
we've been doing it for a year now.
One thing that I sort of noticed in this episode, and it made me feel a bit sad, and I have a slight issue with, is that I don't feel like the kids are portrayed as kids anymore, apart from Smee. I think that they're all quite...
He's great.
I think if I just dropped in and watched this episode out of nowhere, I would not have a weird sense of seeing those actors, you know, those characters, sure. Like, what's unusual about them? Something unusual about them. I just don't think that, like, especially Wendy, Curly, Nib.
I disagree, actually. I was sort of looking for it, and maybe because I've been listening. When Wendy's talking to Joe in that second scene, just after they leave the lab, she's just like playing with her hands or playing with something, and there's a naivety to her, which I still thought was there. Maybe if you dropped in, you wouldn't see it. And I actually thought that the only way to really like look at Isaac or Toodles in the lab is as like a kid. He's just got no sense of danger about that being in that room or what's going on. He's so focused on doing a good job for his teacher, and it leads him to his untimely demise.
He is doing such a bad job, though.
He's really fucking
I think as someone who's eager to please, I don't know that I'd be
have I got myself
doing
in
what he's doing.
Situations?
I don't know. But anyway. I mean, with a tray of metal and bits, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, it's not the tray with the steak where you're like, oh, I'll be
all right in this room.
Yeah.
So going back to the beginning, as you mentioned, Dave, Wendy's talking to the alien, and Joe is talking to Kirsh. Kirsh has been quite an inscrutable figure, and I think I've been poisoned now by the opinions of the people that I've been listening to talk about the show.
This is why we said we wouldn't listen to it.
I know, but I do think that this is noticeable anyway. Kirsch's disdain for Joe's plan and his obvious interest in the potential of the hybrids comes through in this scene. What is that?
It's my favourite line.
What is it?
It says it's like an onion asking how to take care of a star.
Yeah.
Which I thought was...
Is that what he said? I was trying to work out what he said. I heard the onion.
Yeah.
So taking care of a what?
A star.
A star.
His point is that you are so wildly...
You're a fucking onion,
You're an
man.
Onion compared to a star.
I should have called you both onions.
She could do anything, go anywhere.
Onion boy.
She can invent faster than light travel and travel the universe for 1,000 years.
You are an onion.
You're an onion.
Yeah. I mean,
onions have layers.
Within that context, and this is the kind of like, if Joe's character note is he just wants to get his sister home and be a family.
Yeah.
Within the scope of this series, that is pretty fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
Like, escape this trillionaire's fucking island.
I'm quite tired of Joe and his stupid little plan. Actually,
drawing a
map, like 10 steps here.
Do you know,
what's he doing it with his eyes shut? What's
the only good thing was when he was like walking on patrol with his old comrades, and she just went, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah. Obviously, you're trying to escape. Just shut up.
Yeah, it's good here. We're paid. We've got jobs. Like, we're in a shitty city now. I'm on a tropical island.
I don't understand. I know you said how. I don't understand how they're there or why they're there. Why the fuck are they there on the island? Why are they there?
I think because they saw things. It's better to keep them close.
It's just so weird. They worked on Earth.
Yeah,
they did work on. Well, this is still Earth. But
in that city,
the thing is, there's sometimes it's weird seeing people with like human emotions in this series. Sometimes, empathy and sympathy and like caring for one another. Like Joe stands out massively. Arthur stands out not quite as much. I think he just about gets away with it. But then it's almost like you know what I do. I know. Do you know what you mean? Why are they there? Were they going, can we come? Joe's our friend. Can we come too? Because it's not the world where that would happen.
Do you know? I think in my head it was just because we had that shot of Kavalier watching their first interaction on the screen. So it seemed to me that I was completely happy to go, yeah, it's just a manipulation. But then
and it probably is. But yeah, he does. Joe, I think I'm quite tired of him and his just so pure. So pure. He's so good.
Every scene he's just, but when can we go home? You can't fucking go home. You've been told this. You've asked.
She doesn't even want to go home.
He's more like a child in the sense.
He's the weakest character in it for sure. And I think it's a bit of a waste of Alex Lawther as an actor. I think he's great. I thought in the first 2 episodes he was really good, and now I just don't really know. I can understand what they're setting up now. Like his final 2 episodes are, I've got to get Marcy off the island.
I think if he succeeds in that, I will be annoyed. If it's like, you know, if it's like the whole thing goes to shit and Wendy's knocked out somehow and he has to drag her and he uses a little map and he gets her on the boat and he succeeds, I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, let's give the show credit though. Because I don't
think that they would do that.
I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I don't want to know what's going to happen. No. Maybe we should do now predictions for what we think will happen.
Maybe we should
right
write them down in an envelope.
Maybe we should at
the end of this episode.
Okay, we could do the envelope.
I've not really been reading many. There's the one thing I don't like reading is guesses, because there's like a unlimited number of them on the internet, and one of them is probably going to be right. Do you know what I mean? So I don't, whatever then I see, it will be like, oh, I sort of thought this.
Let's do that then. Let's not talk about it now.
All right, yeah.
We'll all write down.
Yeah.
It has to be now with 2 episodes to go.
Okay.
And then at the end of the 8th episode, if we just write down a paragraph of what we think will happen at the end.
Maybe a certain number of points. Yeah. It is interesting. And I don't know whether it's going to be programmed for more or whether it's going to be completely self-contained. I mean, there's ways you could continue it even if it was pretty contained. You could just jump forward in time or whatever. I'm going to go back to the next scene, which is really the like the junction. What am I saying? Like the fork in the road for lots of the ethical questions which have been raised in the show. Where Dave, you already mentioned this. Dame Sylvia, Arthur, and Atom Ines decide Nibs's fate. It's very sad.
Yes.
What did you make of this scene? This big moment for Aid Edmondson being a complete bastard.
I think the biggest thing from this scene was Dame Sylvia just being like, yeah, we'll do it. And like her husband's right there, and he's fired. She doesn't protest. She doesn't say like, soft voice, I'll do it if you don't fire. It's just nothing. It's just like, yeah, I'll do it. He's gone. Yeah, fine.
Do you think that they're still together?
It feels like a divorce as well. A divorce and a firing.
He had that. He looked longingly at that nice picture cube of a better time. A picture cube of them on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that was like the big thing. And I guess, Arthur, it's interesting. Just when anyone is just purely good, it does stand out. And Arthur having morals, a little. He's been shown before to be a little bit snivelly, maybe a little bit cowardly is a better way of putting that. And like he's got morals, but he's too cowardly to actually follow through. And this time he just plucks up the courage and does it, which is slightly, I guess, just slightly grated on me. And he's going to go, and he's going to go even more good later in the episode. Just pure good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was the main thing. He's the only one in that room with morals. I think Dame Sylvia's convinced herself that she's doing this for the right reasons, but really she knows this is not the right thing to do for Nibs, and I can't see it ending well.
I thought it was, as you speak about it, I find it quite a convincing portrayal of something which the Alien series does quite a lot, which is we're in this corporate future, and it is showing how a certain level of complicity, I mean, we're all slightly complicit in our burgeoning corporate future, and where do you draw the line? And I kind of feel like Dame Sylvia is convincing herself that the best thing to do for the things that she's emotionally attached to, the children, is to stay there and do the wrong thing. And I don't know, and that's like a level of compromise which I think is really relatable.
It's interesting. I guess it's an interesting question, and this is the heart of the question, the heart of the series, I suppose, is the whole: are they alive? Are the children, are the lost boys alive or not? And they talk about kind of ownership of things in the deposition.
Yeah.
I've got to stop saying deposition in case it's not what it is.
It's not really a deposition. Is when you get something on the record, but it's
an arbitration.
It is, yes.
Where they talk about who owns the creatures, and they're like, well, they're alive, so they're not owned by anybody.
Right. Yeah, I missed that.
And I suppose that is, talking about the wider thing, and then are the Lost Boys alive or not? That thing, Arthur is clearly convinced that as a child, in a robot, this is wrong. She needs to be taken care of. Blah blah blah. Atomines probably doesn't care either way, but it can certainly lean into, this is a thing that the company owns. This is an asset of our company. Yeah,
do you know what I really liked about this scene as well is that it isn't Kavalier enforcing this.
No.
And again, I think this is quite a good note in terms of like the evil's done. It's him being worried about what his boss is going to think and therefore deciding to do the most extreme thing possible in this situation.
Yeah.
Which is great. Isn't it? Just how evil can be assuming the intentions of someone more powerful than you. But yeah, I think you're bang on. I think there's quite a few kind of instances about through this episode about whether the Lost Boys are alive or not, including one of them definitely not being alive anymot. But in this instance, like, it is the difference between asserting control over the physical unit, which is arguable, but then the mind. If you're just fucking editing bits of someone's memories, then obviously they do not exist as a sort of a sentient, autonomous being in the way that.
Well, they're talking about adjusting actual personality traits as well, aren't they? Like her reaction times to emotional responses and things. There was a bit I was, enjoying. I enjoy just seeing like UI in films and things when they have to design computer systems for that don't exist, and I thought we were going to see like skill points kind of being put into. There was one bit that looked a little bit like
a Pez style hexagon.
Yeah, exactly. Like put a few more points in empathy.
Nibsy's dribbling is fucking terrible this season. What's going on there?
Yeah, exactly. But Dame Sylvia just very cold. She's she is sort of outwardly has been kind of the warmest, I think, and then this was such a cold thing for her to do.
I think it's selfish, but I don't know. I'm almost completely torn by the idea that she's convinced herself that it's better to be the good person in a bad situation than to just exit completely. Well,
I guess they were right to think that this is going to happen. The boss or the sub boss has decided this, and we can either be the ones here doing it and trying to make it the best version of it, or we can leave and they're going to do it anyway, and they might do it horribly.
Just about the follow-up scene, Rob, what did you think about the scene in with Wendy when Nibs wakes up?
I thought it was incredibly careless to just immediately put Nibs next to someone who doesn't know what's happened and is immediately going to start asking quite childlike questions.
Yeah. You said you were pregnant?
There's no tact from Wendy here at all, and I think that's where you can see like the childlikeness of her still coming out. Like she's not getting she sort of figures it out by the end.
Yeah.
But she makes no attempt to shield Nibs emotionally from the fresh trauma she's potentially creating. Like they've just gone through this whole process of let's remove the trauma, and immediately new trauma is forming. You can see Nibs like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm not pregnant. There was no crash.
Yeah.
There was. You did say that.
Well, I guess
it's just going to keep banging on it over again.
It's great in terms of I found the scene relatively unconvincing for that reason. I was kind of like, they're not going to fucking mention to anybody else or just say that she did it because she wanted to.
You don't have to have a medical degree to think, will it be weird when other people are talking about events you can't remember? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a terrible plan. You've got to at least try and say to everyone, and remember, she doesn't know about it. We're pretending this never happened.
Well, I want to say the thing I like about it is that in trying to fix something, both Wendy and Nibs are then set on different courses. Wendy's already been thinking about her sense of self, and her sympathy with the alien is sort of drawing her in one direction. Again, thinking whether they consider themselves human. And Nibs freaked out, partly because of seeing the eye monster and the cat, and probably this kind of parallel about whether the synths are real or if a body is animated, but is that cat still alive? Not really. and then has this kind of traumatic moment and freak out, and now is just thinking, well, someone's fucked around with my brain. Both of them are having existential crises in different directions, which I really like. But the way that the show gets us there is by having basically a really fucking stupid, clumsy fuck up by the scientist people, and I think that this is a recurring theme. I think after episode 5, there's tons of talk in the community, in the fandom, and in our podcast about how poor that crew is, and maybe all the best people on that crew died getting the animals getting the creatures in the first place. But I am slightly frustrated by how much the show relies upon really fucking stupid mistakes to drive things forward. I don't know how you both feel about this.
I think, well, just going back to Nibs very quickly, like I do wonder if it is just another way of exploring the theme of humanity versus non-humanity. Like, they're talking about her in very human terms before this process happens, in terms of the trauma. Does a synthetic being feel trauma, really? Like, what is it Nibs is actually feeling? And really, they talk about therapy, which is what you would do for a human, and the synthetic version is just to do some things on a computer and to dial some things back and to edit the personality, which throws into question, I guess, one of the big questions of the series is, are these robots still the children? Is that them in a robot body, or is this something else entirely? And this scene with Nibs does suggest that they are something else entirely. If you can just alter Nibs's personality and take away bits of what makes her from her previous human life, then really what is this? And I was very intrigued by her story previously, like, just thinking, oh, how's this going to play out? Is she going to become one of the monsters, one of the things on the island that everyone has to get away from? But they've seemingly been able to, through technology, dial her back into, for now, almost like a shell of herself. Is she going to retain anything? I guess that'll be one of the things. That's now a question I've got. Is like, can she gain those memories back, or is that whole concept of a memory within inside a synthetic being just not true, not possible? Is it gone forever?
I agree. I guess I think the series is a little bit worse off now that you mention it for that scene. Because it does seem, because that was like a big question that's been swirling around. Are they, aren't they? Are they the same people? Aren't they the same people? Or are they people?
I don't think it's definitive, though.
I think that they, first of all, it's been proven you can just edit someone's memories. That's, that already makes them more machine. But also they talk about when the process of transferring her consciousness, how they had adjusted some parameters to compensate for a certain emotional state or whatever. It just, to me, made me think that, I think Hermit says in this episode, like, someone says, like, is that your sister? And he says something like, I believe it is. And I think that together with this just makes me think, like, actually they really aren't. I don't know what I've been imagining, but now it feels more like they can't ever be, certainly not the people they were, and probably not people at all, where someone else can have control over them like this and just change I don't think it's definitive, only in as much as I agree with everything you said, but I think it really, they can't be the same, only because I think that consciousness is ultimately shaped by whatever physical form one takes. If I was suddenly in an Olympian's body, I think I would change.
Right.
I think I'd.
Well, that's not quite. I guess if we accept the
I think it is, like, genuinely is a bit like that. I would definitely comport myself differently if I was super fit and super hot.
Right. Okay.
Rob's nodding.
I want to see
like a small nod.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
He's looking at you with the
I don't mean like I'd go evil or anything. I'd just
more evil.
I think I'd just walk around feeling slightly different, and that would, change.
I think so, yes. But I guess what I mean is, if we accept the science fiction premise that human consciousness can be transferred or copied, and the show is deliberately ambivalent about that, into a synthetic body, and we don't know the nature of the synthetic body, whether it's essentially organic like the fucking lads in Tyrell Corporation in Blade Runner, or whether it's silicone. I guess it's silicone in it because his fucking head's been eaten in the lab. But once you have done that transfer, maybe that's a good home for an existing consciousness. But then obviously they talk about room to grow or develop. We are all, when we kind of talked about teleporting and similar ideas during our Star Trek phase.
It's not a phase, Mum.
One of the things that we were talking about was, one of the things that I kind of do believe is that our physical bodies and our consciousness are completely entwined. Like I think that, well, as you've just said, if you were Olympian, you'd feel differently, and the same is true if you had the physical nature of your brain changed. If you had a lobotomy, then you would be kind of the same. There'd be continuity, but then your functions and your future personality would then differ. And I guess what I'm saying, leading us down this sort of theoretical, philosophical path, is I still think potentially you could be the same person, but housed in your new body. Your new body has, or your new physical self has functions which your old one didn't. And so if we knew exactly where your memories were, maybe we could edit them out of your brain. But because of their sense, we can definitely just do it. So I don't know if it completely definitively answers the question for me, is basically what I was saying. Although certainly I think for Nibs, she's kind of like, I guess I'm probably not human then.
Yeah. I think it makes, again, Joe seem even more foolhardy to me. Like, it's not his sister, really. Yeah. It might have, I'm calling her it now, she might have memories of Marcy's memories, but she's completely different, and she doesn't want to hang out with him.
Ultimately, what is it? For me, it's completely selfishly, it's if there is a continuity of consciousness between one and the other, how can there be? How can there be? Teleportation is a lie. These synths aren't real.
It's back on it.
Well, are they going to invent teleportation tip while we're still making this podcast? And I'm going to become an influencer. I'm going to go mad. I'm going to be online. I'm going to be making YouTube videos.
It'd be an amazing weapon, teleportation.
Just teleporting people.
Just teleport them off to the moon or whatever. Straight into prison.
True. Or just 50 meters into the air.
Yeah. Or below the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make oil fields. That's what they'll do.
It would be amazing when it teleports. I was thinking coming back from Gamescom.
Like if you just go... Bloop.
Do you get the thing in an airport where you're like, I wish I just didn't have to do this 20-minute queue.
Yeah,
I wish I just didn't have to do this. And then that line of thought always leads to, well, I wish I could just teleport.
Yeah.
I wish I could just teleport from Gamescom straight to my bedroom.
But a lot like finding yourself in a robot body, I think it would... I don't know how it would irrevocably change us. And I don't mean physically. I mean literally, there's something about, like going to Gamescom is a good example for us. So, it's like you undertake this journey. It takes time. It's annoying. It's tiring.
Yeah.
It's going to another place, becoming someone else, like or taking on like I'm here to do this kind of. If we just walked through a gate and then we were at Gamescom,
I'd just be less tired, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be like, it would be interesting. And the same if you could just walk through a gate and go to the Maldives, surely everything would become much less exciting, interesting of a break. I don't know, like whatever. Who knows? It's just interesting. I would love for there to be teleportation technology, but also I wonder what unforeseen consequences there would be for the way we feel about the world and travel. And
I wonder if it is possible to simply replicate an entire person. That's what I thought now. Like, is there just... Replicate. Are we just going to get like clone. A 3D printer where you just... We can just atom by atom.
Are you not happy with cloning? You want it to be because you want the memories in there as well.
I want to
memories in atoms.
I want to create a version of myself. They must be, because you have memories and all you are is atoms.
I know, but those atoms are all renewed every 7 years.
This is very Frankenstein, isn't it? It's like pouring through the bits of a person and going, where does the soul live?
Yeah. Then I remember things that happened more than 7 years ago.
Yes.
I know,
but so it can't live in your atoms, or unless the atom is it either is because the atom is a complete replica of the one that was there before,
cells,
or is it in between? Well, yes, I know, but cells are made up of atoms.
It's true.
Or is it between the atoms? The electricity, some sort of other thing.
Isn't it in the neural pathways? Isn't that? And they're made up of cells, which are made up of atoms. Why are we even trying?
I don't know.
Anyway, what I was going to say,
nothing's real, and all we are is just a continuation of extraordinary coincidences.
Yeah,
where a clump of atoms just continues to clump together implausibly and almost impossibly every single second of the day.
Yeah,
and contains the same memories as it did before, creating the illusion of people and memories and personalities and everything.
But my question to you both is, if we did successfully create a perfect version of each of you, would you become best friends? Would you
hate them? Fight
each other to the death?
No.
Do you think it would be... I would feel morally happier to attack myself than anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so it is yourself.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would certainly be quite unhappy that it existed. And it would be just as strong as me. I'm not saying that's very strong, but it would be our hexagons would be...
It would be a foolish fight. I mean,
it'd be a ridiculous fight. But surely someone would end up winning the fight.
I know. And that's weird, isn't it? Yeah. I guess it would just come down to...
I think as soon as it's created, as soon as it would be created, it becomes different to you, though.
That's true.
The second it comes into existence, already you're on differing pathways through things.
It's got a slightly different perspective instantly. And then, as you say, that they just go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And you have to become slightly
One
different.
of you picks up a rolling pin, the other picks up a knife.
Yeah.
And those are both things I would think of doing in a fight.
Different times.
If I had to fight another human for my life, and one of us had to die, there are scenarios like, okay, I need a big blunt instrument with reach, or I need a knife.
Are you getting both, or are you picking one of them?
I don't know. Maybe there's just... I could pick
Left hand rolling pin. I'm right-handed. Right hand knife.
Dave, as you know, in Deep Space Nine, when Kira goes to a different dimension and meets a version of herself, that version of herself is sexually attracted to Kira.
Yes.
Do you think that having sex with yourself is gay?
Let's stop this.
All right, I'm sorry.
I think it would probably be an entirely new classification of sexuality.
It would be a new sexuality, I think. Yeah, I agree.
I wonder how many of yourself you can make.
Selfish, it would be called.
Self-sexual.
Self-sexual. I'm self-sexual, yeah.
That's a horrible thought. Let's talk about Alien Earth.
I quite like myself, actually.
I like the
I'd
idea
be very lucky to be with me. Thank you very much.
We've thought of something so horrific that we want to go back to Alien Earth to cleanse our minds.
We're nowhere through this episode yet, really. Well, it doesn't feel like we're very far through the episode. I think the next thing that happens is the
Would it be
arbitration.
cheating? That's the other thing. Would it be cheating? So I'm married.
Yes.
Would it?
I think so.
I guess because, as Rob said,
he's another person.
We've diverged from the moment
it's weird,
that person
like,
exists.
Masturbation isn't cheating.
That's exactly my point.
No one else is involved. That's
what
why.
if I close my eyes
off the clone of you, is that masturbation or is that
no? As soon as it's an external body.
So you need to do it within the first 5 minutes.
We've got to stop talking about this.
That's what I want to talk about now. No, it's not. I want to talk about...
I think it's the arbitration we've reached.
That's
now.
what I'm going to call it.
Yes.
Kavalier versus Yutani.
Yeah.
And yes. Anyone?
I guess at the time I enjoyed this scene. In retrospect, now thinking about it, I'm slightly annoyed by Boy Kavalier.
I think you're supposed to.
I know, but in like a kind of, it's just ridiculous.
I thought it was a bit silly, this scene.
Turning up with no shoes
putting
on.
his dirty feet on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big character note, isn't it?
There's got to be something like Yutani should just be like, just shut up.
Yeah.
He's going against all the processes, like the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
So you'll have your turn. You'll have your turn to speak, but he doesn't care. He just speaks anyway.
There must be, for Yutani to be willing to be bound by the ceremony of the occasion, there must be a serious power vested in this process, is what I thought.
Yeah.
So I was happy to accept that. And then I was annoyed that he wasn't.
Well, I was also thinking, and I just can't remember, are there 5 big companies or are there 7 big companies?
5.
So he's like, I'm here on behalf of the 5. It's like, well, 2 of the 5 are in the room.
Well, I guess if you're bound by the treaty, though. So if you're the Western allies, if it's like Britain, France, Germany wasn't really an ally, but Spain, Italy, whatever, and 2 of them are then the you're under the flag of the UN
all of them,
the EU or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
If I was Yutani, I'd just like, well, well, fuck off then. I'm not giving you 20 billion.
Also,
if you're just going to make a mockery of this process, then the 20 billion we agreed to, that's not happening.
20. I don't know if it's just that I've been
shook on it.
poisoned by the modern world. Like I heard, I don't even know if it's true, but just that Musk is on for some kind of $1 trillion payday at certain point if certain conditions are met. So like 20 billion.
I did think
these guys are trillionaires.
They're all trillionaires. It didn't sound like pocket change.
It's not that much money, is it?
I guess he doesn't want the money though. Really, I mean, I suppose it doesn't make any difference. Like it's just, if it didn't feel like an amount of money that he would care about or that she would care about, so it all feels
like Spurs
arbitrary.
are worth like $2.5 billion.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? Imagine if we had aliens.
£2.5 billion.
Apparently, maybe more. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
What does it mean though? What does it really mean?
I don't know anymore.
No, I don't know anymore. But I the big exciting thing about this, for me, this scene and its following scene was actually Morrow meeting Kirsh again.
Yeah.
And I actually found it quite disinteresting. Or not disinteresting, but particularly them in the lift. I think I had such high hopes for it. I mean, Morrow has been my favourite character throughout the series, really. Kirsh, probably my second favourite character. And they're both cool and interesting.
The less they say, the better.
And and then being, in a way, it was like, oh, here they go, they're going to get together in this lift, this is cool, what they're going to say. And I don't actually remember much about what they said, really. They just kind of,
so explicit.
It was just sort of like, it was like playground kind of.
The one thing I did
you're
like,
shit. Well, you're a robot. Yeah, or better being a robot than a half a robot. Oh well,
you're shit.
The one thing I liked was Kirsh calling him an old toy. The idea of the obsolescence, because we've talked about that. The fact he's been gone for so long, and then he's come back, and all these other things are now possible. But the whole kind of, do you know what I like about killing synths? It's like, oh, I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
How many have you killed? That's
I just
horrible.
think after episode 5, where I think it worked quite hard to really kind of backfill some of Morrow and make him feel more human. And this was just quite he seemed like a different character to me in this episode. I don't know. It was quite strange.
He didn't really have much to do.
He didn't.
Just standing
Just
around and then was on the phone, on the blower to slightly again later on.
Do you know what? He's been the driving antagonist for 5 episodes, and suddenly he's a henchman. That is not a great transition. No. I'm sorry to bring this in, but there's a note from Babu Siso, who plays Morrow, from the Alien Earth podcast, which when I listened to it, I was like, but now I can kind of see it, where he's talking about learning about the history of the character and the things that he needed to do to survive, and the service he might have provided to Grandma Yutani back in the day, and saying that he definitely had a military background and that he was the most ruthless of her henchmen and maybe had some kind of special forces. So maybe he has fucking killed synths. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And maybe he has, and I guess it's only now putting those two things together. But I think if you're having to put something from a podcast together with the line that you didn't really like in a show,
I just think it's a bit cheap. It's just, I think his character's been super interesting, and this coming together was just kind of cheap and childish. Like I said, maybe that's important.
More
childish,
cards close to their chest, I think would have been good.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah, I love killing synths, by the way. Oh yeah, well, go on then. If you want to.
I will.
If that's what you say. Yeah, I will. Like, I think you're right as well. That the last thing we saw of Morrow was him being told by Yutani, or her saying to someone else, like, get him whatever he wants. And that has turned into him just following her to a meeting. You know, not like, I want ships, I want men, I want synths, I want cyborgs. We're going to the island. It's going to be cool.
I do believe that is. Have you seen the trailer for next week, though?
I haven't,
I do believe that he's getting everything he wants.
I'm sure he is, but but before you do that, do you want to come to this meeting? Because it will be cool.
So why does he still need slightly? Why?
I guess because
still needs to convince this poor terrified. It's a rubbish plan.
The plan at the beginning was just like that he said was just cause chaos, exfil. That's the deal. He just wants to
destabilize. I mean, it's a good plan. It's like you've got it in your pocket, you'd use it, wouldn't it? Like the chance.
Yeah.
I guess he's doing other things. He's just like, it would be great if you could release an alien, though. If you can do that.
Successfully has caused some chaos, I think. Like, that alien inside Arthur is going to hatch on the island. It's going to be it's going to go in the jungle, I think, and there's going to be some predator alien-y jungle stuff.
Yes,
going down.
I've got a prediction.
Oh,
I'm going to write it down.
I wonder what it is. I think it was funny actually. There was some Jurassic Park about this episode.
Yes, I thought so.
Partly in a jungle in the rain. But also just actually my partner turned to me at one point and was just started doing Jurassic Park lines at me to make the point, which I did enjoy. I think it was when, which is coming up really, we should just talk about it. Hermit goes to see Arthur. Yeah. Again, just a strange choice. Really, what is he doing?
He's just wandering around.
You seem to be the nicest person on this island.
Well, this works though. At least this works. He gets what he wants out of this meeting.
He does get what he wants out of this meeting. But it was all very, text on computer screen. Yeah. Do you want to turn off the trackers? Yes and no. And everyone hesitating. And she was, and Holly just looked at me and went, And I was like, yeah, it is a bit like that. Before that happens though, Tootles goes to the lab. Kirsh, is Kirsh
doing?
Kirsh is definitely watching Slightly, and we know he knows about Slightly's plan and everything. Is he also watching Tootles? Like, he's got cameras in there. Cams. He does in this episode find out that Tootles has been
I think Kirsh
killed.
Kirsh just likes experimenting on things, and I think my take is that he's also experimenting on the synths.
Yeah.
Just they're part of his experiment. Go to the lab, and then he's just watching them. I wonder what they'll do in the lab.
Yeah.
Oh, this one is speaking to someone outside the island. He's got a plan to do a bad thing. Oh, he's just observing all the time.
I don't know what Kirsh is up to, and for a long time, and a few of the things that we mentioned from this episode have nudged me into thinking that he is sympathetic towards the synths.
Synthetic.
So, yep, and sees great potential in them, and that doesn't really. It's not particularly consistent with the idea of him just watching Toodles die on a cam. And maybe it's because if he's a fucking idiot, but then they're kids, they're fucking children. And he does say, is Curly there? And unless he's judged that perfectly and knows that he will say no either way, he would rather that a more competent person was alongside, or that there was two of them helping each other out.
Yeah. This was really shocking levels of incompetence though. Yeah. And I don't know.
Finding it tough.
Is he really capable of such stupidity?
I can't help but the scenes are so similar in terms of, red light, green light, containment going wrong.
Yeah.
I just need to see competence met with something interesting, or I'd much rather that there was a creature ploy or just some other reason that these things had happened 2 episodes in a row. Just otherwise, this universe is just banking on incompetence as like fucking instigating incident. I don't know.
It's trying to lean on the eye being a puppeteer somewhat of the, and the eye is certainly
all the eye can do is bang stuff.
Yes,
and I just think if you there isn't the sort of the nuance and sophistication in that level of interaction to make these. It's getting a bit lucky.
Yeah.
What Isaac's a really fucking sophisticated synthetic. What if he just didn't take his foot out of the door just because a sheep had banged his head on a wall?
Yeah.
I don't know. I need something more than that. Even as super intelligent as I'm being led to believe the eye sheep is.
Yeah.
It's still in a cage that it can't get out of the eye sheep and the xenomorph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know something?
The flies are out though.
Something coincidental. The flies are undone. Something coincidental happened to me when I was going to watch this yesterday, and that's that for some reason, one of those things, I accidentally started watching episode 3 again. I didn't know that. I thought, I clicked next episode and it started showing me episode 3. And I didn't realize for 5 minutes, only in as much as I thought it was doing a thing. It was like, wow, flashback. I'm going to learn something new in this scene. And the start of episode 3 is excellent and was kind of relevant for all this stuff now, which was quite nice. And it's actually the scene where they're on the ship and Kirsh is in the computer and Nibs gets... I don't think she gets attacked. She's like having flashbacks about being attacked by the eye and is freaked out in the lab, and Curly's talking to her and she's going, why are we called the Lost Boys? Why, and it was just really interesting. But one of the things that happened is that Kirsh is in the computer and he says that they found 5 species of alien. And all of this is just to say that I instantly was then like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time. 5, like how many have we seen? And I think we have now seen the 5 in the Xenomorph, the ticks, the eye, the fly, and the plant thing, and that's still the most mysterious, and that has been contained so far.
It's going to do something.
But
it's going to do something.
Did a little jump scare in this episode, didn't it?
It did.
When your boy Tootles was walking past.
Yeah.
His little proboscis was out.
Yeah.
Proboscis, how do you say it?
Proboscis.
I enjoyed The Fly. The thing which I, again, bringing in from the official podcast, Hawley was talking about needing other creatures. I think it's a really basic, obvious thing as soon as it's said out loud. In order to replicate the sense of disgust and despair that the original Xenomorph inspired in the first couple of films, you need new creatures to do it. So we've talked about this on the podcast. It's a pretty big swing, and for the most part, it's paid off. In terms of the R reception and the wider reception to the eye, it's been huge. It's like a new thing which is in this world. It's really interesting. The Fly was disgusting. Something about the neatness of having a creature that was, to these potentially immortal synthetics, as dangerous as, it's like, oh, this one just happens to eat silicone. Maybe a little too neat for me as well. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Oh, yes. It's way too neat. Super neat. And again, that adds to the stupidity and the coincidental nature of the whole thing. Like we said, he probably could have walked into any other of those cages and been definitely not killed. Maybe horribly injured or whatever, compromised, but not killed. And it's the one, it's
video gamey almost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you need this kind of ammo for this enemy.
Yeah. Like, I accept he's a child, but he's not an idiot. And in fact, he's shown himself to be one of the kind of more interested in learning and whatever. He's been learning science.
They literally know that he's feeding it circuit boards or whatever. They literally know what they eat.
No, it's just like, it's all too perfect.
Although the flies dipping their little snoots into his face was unpleasant.
Yeah, that was nasty.
That was good.
I don't know why he didn't go ham on that fly. As soon as it landed, I'd be
just
like,
fucking squeeze it to death.
Just rip the thing up.
Sure, they must have. It's been in the lab. They must. When it fucking throat goes massive, that's when I was about to just squirt acid all over me.
Yeah,
I best punch it.
It was frustrating.
But didn't do any of that.
No, he didn't.
And he looked so sad as he was being killed.
I thought it was a good death.
I thought his performance was fantastic.
One thing you make me think, Nath, then, talking about the other species, I think other species is a good idea. We're all a bit, dare I say it, bored of the Xenomorph.
Yeah.
But also, this series is maybe putting a nail in that coffin for the Xenomorph. Because not only, like, it's dined out on being mysterious and we're catching snatches of it. Now it's literally in a glass cage. I get to look at it loads, properly see like its anatomy, how it's put together
the
and stuff.
Stages of growth. We've never seen that before.
It's just kind of like all laid bare in a kind of way of like this is never now going to have any mystery for me whatsoever anymore. And I think that's okay. I don't think seeing it like snatches of Xenomorph in a vent could ever land like it, exactly. has in the past, but it is properly kind of they've gone the other way where it's like, well, I'll tell you what, like, yeah, you're never going to be scared by the Xenomorph, really. So well, let's just look at it. Let's properly look at it and see what it's like. And it practices descending. It's like in a prison cell, like doing bicep curls. It's just like lowering itself from its tail, just like, I'd come down and I wouldn't kill them right away. I'd stand there like I'd
trip them up.
It's like a teenage Xenomorph at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not fully grown.
No.
But Xenomorph.
The Xenomorph,
Yeah, the difficult Xenomorph years.
I like the sheep watching though. Completely inscrutable.
I felt like the
really
sheep
enjoyed it.
watching Wendy talking to the Xenomorph quite jealously. Did anyone else get a sense of slight jealousy?
Well, this is it. It's like fucking expressionist film. It's like whatever you're thinking is just being put onto the sheep.
I do like the sheep. It must be an editor's dream, the sheep. You just got loads and loads of shots of the sheep staring creepily.
Yeah.
You put some sheep in. Put some like throbbing ominous music underneath the sheep staring. It just adds instantly like an atmosphere to any scene that it's in that I just quite enjoy. What's the sheep thinking? What's the eye thinking?
Because every shot of the sheep is incredibly expensive.
It's made me think a little bit of Jurassic Park again, specifically when Muldoon is killed by the velociraptors, and we just see a shot of one of the velociraptors watching.
Yeah.
It's got that vibe of it is seeing everything, isn't it? It's seeing I mean, the one thing I think we can all agree is that it is observing everything and clearly formulating a plan of some kind, and it's taking its opportunities when they come. But that's all I'm getting is just like it is watching, it's understanding relationships.
Eye-related prediction.
It's going to come out and it's going to be like, right, I know exactly what to do. It's going to find the map. It's going to find Hermit's map, study that.
Yeah.
He's scribbled down the boat code as well.
The eye looking at the boat code.
That's what's going to happen. Oh, I should have written that in my envelope.
Yeah, you should. Have we talked about Arthur already?
No. We should talk a little bit about Hermit and Arthur, which then leads directly onto Arthur going into the lab. But yeah, Hermit comes to see Arthur. The two nice guys getting together. I just don't think, again, I just think this is quite poor. A man being asked a direct question and then doing a big look to the security camera in the room. But then we see the perspective of the security camera, seeing him looking.
But you don't see anyone watching that.
You don't. And
it's more of a sense of observation.
But it just feels like it's like the cheapest way of saying I'm about to say the opposite of what I really think. You know, like even just a little look like at his shoulder indicating
right.
And then in the background we see, you know, it was a proper look to camera, and then we see the camera seeing him. It's like if anyone is watching, he doesn't know no one's watching the security cameras. You know, it just feels clumsy and ridiculous. Whereas he could definitely have just sort of, even just like kind of tilted his head and looked a little bit and just been like, do you see what's over my shoulder? It would have been so much smarter. Like he's a man who just told us he's got 6 degrees.
It should have been soundtracked by like little trumpet noises.
Yeah. Like
head swivel.
Yeah, so I didn't love that. And again, I just think Hermit, oh, you just seem like the nicest guy, so I'm going to ask you the nice guy question. You just tell me the truth, and then I'll be happy with the truth. Is she safe? It's just like, oh, God.
I do struggle a little bit with the level of access and lack of security on the whole island, considering how locked down it is.
Yeah.
Joe can just walk around into the chief engineer's lab and just ask him stupid fucking questions.
Yeah, exactly. How's that part of his job? Like, as in, you know, his job is to decide if Wendy's his sister or not, and he's like, talking to everyone about how to get Wendy out of there.
Slightly does the bad thing.
And he's probably not going to. He has a real half-hearted attempt at getting Joe in there, which Joe's not falling for.
Slightly's performance here, great.
Yeah.
The actor's doing a great job.
I think so.
I loved it when they were like, they've got my family. And Arthur's, I've got a family too.
Yeah.
Please. And then he's just on the phone. So who's he phoning?
Yeah.
Cover your put your face up against something.
I was thinking this.
Your face to the glass.
I was thinking this.
Cover
What
your
is your
face.
strategy?
I was thinking just some sellotape. Just tape over the mouth.
Some sellotape, yeah.
John
or just put a hat on.
Kane was wearing a spacesuit
made of fragile glass, Nathan.
And it just burns
All you
through
need is no. Surely it's just physical strength that gets the face.
It just pushes it through the glass.
God, it's like punches. So you need something soft, like a sponge. Would absolutely ruin a face hugger.
I'm not sure.
It would. It's like it deals really well with hard, like fragile. Not fragile, but
breakable
things that could be like smash. I can't think of the word, but hard things like a tile. No problem for a face hugger.
Right.
But a lovely soft sponge packed into your mouth.
That's all that's doing it's going to end up in your lung.
That's going in. That little trunk it's got, it's not going to get anywhere. It's going to be punching the sponge.
How does the trunk know, or do you think it doesn't care? Is it always laying them in the lung? Or is it... Because I guess it's breathing for you. I guess that's why it does. Or is it sometimes going into the stomach? I guess you wouldn't put a fetus in the stomach.
What if you've gone down the... what you've done there is you've gone down the
food
esophagus instead of the trachea. That's like an adolescent face hugger sometimes makes that mistake. Yeah. And then you get a stomach burster, and they are completely... Maybe that's where we're going. More good stuff for the envelope.
Yeah. These envelopes are going to be witness to some serious...
That might be something I'd want to see.
So
stomach burster.
Assuming you don't have a sponge right now in this room, facehugger starts knocking stuff
Rob's
over.
right. Put your mouth up against that glass and scream it slightly. And like, what's it going to do? Facehugger's going to come on the back of your head and just try. But hopefully not. I mean, to be fair, if it is that strong, maybe it just punches a hole in the back of your head and you're dead.
But then that's no good.
It can't kill you because it needs you alive.
I was thinking, I was watching him, and thinking about what I would do. And what I wanted to do in that moment as him was to turn around and try and see it, obviously. Where's the thing? Where's the threat? But that is the wrong thing to do, because seeing it is...
As long as you can't see it, you're safe.
Exactly. If you can't see it, you're safe. Turn around, close your eyes, put your mouth up against the glass and push really hard.
Just like what? Like you know what I mean? Blow against the glass with your open mouth.
Find some kind of... Just anything to put over your face.
Yeah. Also, does it specifically recognize faces? Because if you just wore a bucket, it doesn't even have to be like sealed.
Yeah.
But it can't see a face anymore.
As we know from Romulus, you can just walk around quietly as well.
Yes.
And they don't know you're there.
Or like how a butterfly...
That was fucking shit, wasn't it? Fucking Romulus.
Yeah, but they'd also lowered... To be fair, they'd changed the ambient temperature of the room. They said in Romulus that they see heat, they see body heat.
Oh, that's it, yeah, heat.
And they changed the temperature of the room. They did explain that. I think that's acceptable. I was going to say how a butterfly, this will ruin my butterfly thing now, which is how it uses its wings, and it paints it looks like big eyes to creatures, and that's why they don't attack them.
Yeah.
If you just painted a mouth on your forehead... And the facehugger's can't recognise a face anymore, or it's like, which mouth is the mouth?
These are the experiments you want to be doing.
Well, he did say, just go through the list of experiments.
That's one of them.
How can we make it so a facehugger doesn't immediately go for your face? You just need a line of humans, all with different strategies.
Yeah.
And you're just noting down what works.
Has a facehugger ever attacked a man with a beard? Have we seen that in...
Yeah, no. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I have not a big bushy beard. Well, imagine Gandalf.
Great big bushy beard.
Big bushy beard. That could be a defense mechanism.
What about just having a really big head?
Big head.
Because what the captain tries to do on the Maginot...
Facehugger's just
exactly.
It doesn't have...
And then it can't clamp.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because the captain was trying to put his arms up, and then it kind of used its tail to slap into the face.
Yeah.
That was a very effective bit of face hugging.
Yeah.
But if you could manage to have something beside your head, which is wider than the span of a face hugger.
I feel like Queen Amidala has an outfit like that at some point,
exactly.
Like E.T. E.T.'s fine. E.T.
That is a collision of worlds.
Also, E.T.'s got a really long neck. If a facehugger did manage to get its thing, it just raises its neck, and it's like, "Well, you're not getting into my lungs."
Yeah,
if you're gonna pop it,
just keep going up.
Yeah.
Who was that kid in the cartoon? Arthur? Was it just? He's got like a completely oblong.
Hey Arthur with the football head.
The football head.
Arthur again.
Hey Arnold.
Hey
Arnold. That's it.
Yeah. That's who I'm sending into space. If I'm Yutani, I am recruiting Arnold.
You've reminded me, and this has frustrated me again. There was another instance in the episode of a screen playing a Disney thing. We didn't need it, guys.
I bet I saw it, but I couldn't recognize what it was.
I know. I couldn't recognize what it was.
Was it Joe just watching?
It was just, yeah. It's just on. It's like, why have we got another screen playing another cartoon? It just, I can't shake the corporate nature of it.
Do you think Disney Plus exists in this universe?
I think Disney think that it does.
Do you think? I wonder if you could watch Alien in the Alien universe.
It's the future of this world, though, isn't it? So if Ice Age exists and
That's what I mean.
Peter Pan exists,
Yeah.
and the Peter Pan Disney film exists,
Yeah.
then Disney Plus probably exists. They could probably be watching Alien Earth.
It'll be like in Spaceballs. You'd have to...
There was some nice bits of Neverland with Peter Pan VO in this.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling now to think what it kind of meant, but it focused on Wendy.
Like Wendy in the garden.
Yes. Did anyone get anything particularly from it?
I was trying to figure out what the thrust of it was, but I wasn't. My brain wasn't doing anything, and I was just listening to it.
Wendy. Oh well, there was one thing that felt quite on the nose, I suppose, which was they said that sometimes, like basically everybody grows up, and Wendy realised that you grow up when she was 2, and this happened, and Peter, growing up's not allowed in Neverland. And there's a bit of Theo that says something along the lines of, occasionally some of the Lost Boys would start to grow up and Peter Pan would thin them out.
Yeah, he just kills them.
Just kills them.
That's what they do. They become pirates or they become killed.
Yes. So, and we've seen some Lost Boys killed now. So
because they started to grow up.
Maybe because they started to grow up. And like I said, I think they're all growing up, apart from Smee. Smee will be fine.
And I guess within the context of this show, like the parallel between Kavalier and Peter Pan, what is growing up that would get you killed? And I guess it's what's happening to Nibs, it's what's happening to Wendy, it's that sense of self. At the end, and the naming has always been very important, Isaac being the only one who's chosen a name for himself and is then killed.
Yes.
And the sort of self-determination of having a name or having names taken away from you. Wendy is now referring to herself as Marcy again.
Yeah, she said, that's not my name.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, that's
like
right.
that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my name. That's not my name.
I'm going to
They
wrap
call
the
me
Ting
Wendy.
Tings. I knew that was coming. Right at the end of the episode, Kirsh tells a lie and nobody knows what it means. The end of the episode.
Well, it means Kirsh is out for Kirsh. That's
something's going on with
That's
Kirsh.
what it means.
You'd think he'd have some sort of programming, but I wonder if... Well, we'll put it in the envelope.
I did think, that also one last thing with the flies being undone.
Yes.
That
Flies being undone.
like it seems like they are in a room made of food.
Yeah, I know, man.
They can just chew through that vent, surely.
I was wondering
anything they
whether the
want.
sheep was thinking, just vomit over here.
Yeah, exactly.
What can they can't get through glass, presumably.
Well, they're in a cage of glass, so I guess not. And
But
maybe
doesn't it have a metal frame? There's a metal door for the
Maybe
food?
they don't eat metal. Maybe they. I guess they whatever.
Silicon.
Yeah, silicon and plastic and
Milk. Synth milk.
Who knows? But it was I did wonder: are more creatures going to be set free? Is this
surely they're all coming out.
Oh, they're definitely all coming out, aren't they? At some point. Stick it in the envelope.
Coming out. Favorite character: Robert S. Pearson.
Tricky.
Yeah. I think it's probably still... I can't remember who I said previously. I think Kirsh is still my favourite character, just in terms of I find him the most interesting. Still.
David?
I don't think I especially enjoyed any character in this episode,
No.
to be honest. Series-wide, my favourite character is still Morrow, but I think that this diminished him somewhat, actually.
I still like Kirsh and Morrow a lot. I'm going to go, though, for Arthur.
Great little Arthur
performance by
probably
Arthur.
was the best in this
He's the
episode.
only good person in this entire show.
Well, apart from Joe.
Joe's a fucking baby.
David Sylvia, I think, is trying to be good.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, I agree with you, Nath, that she's just got a different route to doing the thing that she thinks is the right thing to do.
Still, yeah, keeping a hand on the levers.
Also, if it wasn't for you two, I still wouldn't know Arthur, Dame Sylvia, and Atom's names.
No.
Just wouldn't know their names.
No, I don't think anyone said Atom's name ever. I don't know if... I think Arthur's name is said. I don't know about Dame Sylvia either. But
Names. Favourite scene, David?
Favourite scene, yes. I should have thought of this. Probably the end. Probably Arthur being trapped in the room. I felt like
Arthur.
That wasn't clumsy or coincidental. There is someone there making that happen. Unlike I felt, the other kind of with Tootles, Isaac. I felt like that was way too coincidental and just like the hand of the creator strongly felt in that scene. But I thought, Arthur's partly because he's a nice, good character, trying. In a bad situation, that was probably my favourite scene.
Robert.
Probably just the Tootles death scene and everything leading up to it. As soon as he goes into the lab, you can just... It's got the feel of that scene where stuff's about to go wrong.
He's
as soon
way
as he
too
goes
happy.
into the lab on his own. And this is how I use the airlock properly.
Yeah,
Food's
that's
gone
right.
in. I fed that one.
See?
Well done. As soon as that thing comes... I was watching this with... my wife, and as soon as he pulls the door off, my wife's just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Bad times.
It's all going wrong from here. And indeed it does, just in quite an enjoyable way.
I agree. Even though I have my problems with the level of incompetence shown by various characters in this series, I liked the creature and I really liked the performance. So I like that scene as well. Favourite line? Are we just agreeing it's the Onion Star line?
That's my
onion.
Well, my favourite line was when Morrow said to Kirsh, "I'll see you soon, old toy." I liked that.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was what Kirsh said to Morrow.
No, Morrow
really wasn't paying much attention.
Well, Morrow is Morrow's whole trash talk thrust is that Kirsh is obsolete. Like he's just been kept around for ages and he's old tech.
They both are. I guess that's the thing about the synths, that they're both versions of a technology which has been superseded. But yeah, that was a good line. What a great show. I'm still enjoying it. But how do we feel in terms of warp speed? I think we're all at 6 or 5.5.
Yeah, I was at 6.
How are you feeling now, Dave?
It's a good question. I think still 6.
You were at 6.5, weren't you?
Was I?
I think so.
I don't think so. But let's say that now I'm at 6. I've either dropped a half a light speed, warp speed, a warp factor, I should say, or I'm maintaining. I think it was, like I said, I enjoyed the spectacle of it. I think as a it didn't do anything to build on my love of the series, really. No, interesting. Rob?
I think I might have come back down to 5. Still cruising at a decent speed, but a little bit of deceleration.
Do you know, it reminds me of me getting annoyed at when you see the IMDb ratings for various episodes in shows that I really enjoy. And this happened quite a lot with Andor. There'll be some ones which were doing some really great kind of technical work or narrative work, or there were some brilliant performances. But because it didn't have like big striding plot points, people would rate it lower, and I'd always go, "Oh, you fucking idiots." That is kind of how I feel about this. I think there's loads of great. The Fly is a huge reveal. The character dies for the first time. Like some really, when I looked back, I was surprised at the amount of stuff. But when I was watching it, I had that sense that things were being shuffled around to work towards a climax, and that is just not as exciting, especially from where we were last episode. So
I think things are poised. Like
yeah,
I'm still very much enjoying this series.
TV's weird structurally, isn't it? Like, just a movie just has everything in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
and a TV show just by necessity has to have the occasional episode where
you're inhaling.
This happens.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Also because we've decided how many episodes a TV show must be.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just go, this is a 5-episode TV series. People, companies are like, we need them to be 8. You could do 3, maybe. Yeah. Otherwise, we need 8. We'd like 10.
I think Chernobyl was 5.
Okay, yeah, that's very unusual.
It is unusual, though.
Or they're right. It's weird that you never. Well, we could probably think of ones that have all of them. So let's not do this.
I think people aren't encouraged to set out and write a story and portion it out into and see how many episodes they end up with. It's more like the network would enjoy.
The skill is in making every episode interesting. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, enough about us and television.
Yes.
And indeed, enough about us entirely.
Yes.
We'll be back on Wednesday with the bonus episode, and then we'll be back next week with episode 7 of Alien Earth.
Yes.
See you then. You've been listening to Redshirt Cinema Club. If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to receive 2 exclusive episodes per month, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just check the link in the description. We'd also love to hear from you. Email us at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com or follow us on social media. We'll be back with another episode next Monday.